photo.
I-
Oh, you sent a photo.
I didn't know, because I thought in the Zoom you need a photo.
Chatty, you can repeat later your question
Okay.
on Pakistani.
Okay, thank you.
It's fine. It's fine.
So it's not too early for you, Sita. This time works well for you.
It's good, 8 o'clock morning.
Right. Mark, Chanty, and Nina, they're all on the same time. They're all in Holland, and you'll find other people in Europe too. So it's a good time for people in Europe.
It's a bit early.
A bit early, is it, Mark?
It's
It's
doable.
the best
but it's a bit
way
early.
to start today.
And Gabby,
Yes,
are you
yes.
there? Gabby, I'd like to introduce you to Sita. She is also in Germany. Sita, Gabby is in Germany too.
Gabi, I don't see Gabi.
She's just joined.
Okay.
Can you hear us, Gabby? Did you hear me, Gabby? Maybe not yet. Huh?
A nice background, Sarah.
Thank you. It's the beach where we live.
Oh, I miss the beach. We have no beach here.
That's why 8 o'clock is quite late for me in the morning, because we swim at 6 a.m. in the ocean.
Yeah, I come from Indonesia actually, yeah.
Oh, do you?
And
Okay.
yeah, life in the open sea is 5 o'clock when the sun starts to rise.
Yes.
8 o'clock is already too warm. Yeah,
Too late.
yeah. When I open my
And
my
whereabouts
window.
in Germany do you live, Sita?
In Bonn.
In Bonn. Okay.
Okay, in Bonn. Okay, come support.
สวัสดีค่ะ Please start.
Please
Oh,
start.
Deepa, Jan.
Jane.
Hello, everyone. So we have one new friend here for the first time, Sita, who lives in Germany. Jan, she's just popped out. She'll be back in a minute. Nina, have you got something you'd like to start with?
Yes, some weeks ago, Jyotika had a good remark. It was about the question, nobody can do anything. And Jyotika was wondering about the precepts. Should one not train oneself in the precepts? And then Sarah mentions the wisdom of the Sotapanna, who cannot transgress the precepts and commit serious akusala karma. And that I find that a very good point, because it makes clear that the precepts are not just a set of rules to be followed, but it is understanding of reality which has its function. When the Sotapanna has attained enlightenment, he cannot do any serious akusala karma, but he knows no self who can do anything. And he does not take, for instance, pleasant feeling with himself for generosity, or take akusala, like I'm so good to follow precepts, for kusala. And that makes it really clear that the answer to all those questions is understanding the reality of the present moment. So it is very useful if Ajahn can elaborate more.
I think that no matter what we're talking about, like sila or anything, just for oneself, is that not right? Just for oneself to follow or to understand the benefit of having sila. But I think that the best thing in life is to understand the truth of life or of whatever is there. Because what is meant by enlightenment is not just think about this or that or sila or that, but to understand the absolute truth of what is there as it is. Otherwise, no matter we think about sila or sati or panya, all for ourselves, to understand it, to follow it, to try to have it. But what is the truth of those moments from birth up to now? And that can be understood little by little because it's there all the time. That's why listen to the word of truth carefully to understand just one word as it is. For example, there is no I at all, no thing at all. What does it mean? At all. In the absolute sense, in truth, it means that when the enlightened one said that there is no self and no thing at all, what did he mean about there's no one and no thing? It's so very absolute truth. No one and no thing because of understanding what is there as it is, which does not appear as something or someone or any situation at all. That's why just learning to see the benefit of understanding the truth, which has been covered from eons and eons ago. And there's no time to understand it without hearing the words about it, whether it's true or not. For example, this moment, this, what is this? Only this, no other moment at all. Not self, no one. So what is there? What is seen looks like something or someone all the time from birth. But in truth, what is the truth of only this very moment, only one moment of seeing, one moment of hearing, one moment of thinking in life? There must be a moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and think about all that has been experienced from one moment to another moment until it becomes so very solid. The world of people and things and everything is just like there yesterday or the day before. But in truth, this moment cannot be the same as previous moment at all. That is unknown until the moment of hearing about no one. What is there? What is seeing? Because there is seeing right now. And without understanding, there must be the idea. When there's no understanding of the truth of that very moment, when there is a moment of experiencing a reality or an object and no one there at all. So the moment of experiencing is I see because of not understanding what conditioned that moment to arise. And since it's arise, it appears and then it's gone unknowingly because from moment to moment, the object which is experienced must be different, unknown. Just like previous moment is not this moment. Hearing the word, the sound, different hearing all the time. So that is the absolute truth that if we don't talk about it, how can there be the understanding and more confidence of actually what is there? It's not anyone or anything at all. It's only the way it is, the reality which is conditioned by its proper condition to be just only that and then gone, never to arise again. Just consider the truth, whether it's true or not. When it's true, who can change the way it is? So is it wrong or right to take it for I because it's gone, never to return from moment to moment? So just understanding the truth, that's all. No expectation for this or that for oneself, because in truth, what we take for self is not self because it's only conditioned reality, conditioned moment to be there to arise and fall away. Just consider whether it's true or not, that's all. And the truth can be learned more and more until it is clearer and clearer, little by little, so it can appear as it is to the highly developed panya, which has firm confidence of the truth as what appears is only one reality, one kind of a reality, because that which is heard, sound, is not smell, is not shape and form which can be seen at all. And this is life, from moment of birth to death, on and on and on and on, non-stop at all. And this is the absolute truth. Just learn little by little to let go the idea of self, just for the sake of understanding the truth, so that the truth can show up as it is, when there is no ignorance and attachment which blinds up what is there as it is. That which just is there, arising and falling away, is there, to be known, to be realized, for sure, but with right understanding of the truth from the very beginning. Understanding right now, just listen to understand whether it's true or not. What is there is that which is there, only there and then gone, never to be found again, no matter in life, this life or this life, or whatever life is. Is it true? Just understand the truth. And that which understand the truth is not self, is not me too, but it's the moment of our reality which arises and understand the truth of what is there right now, little by little. So no matter we talk about sila or anything, just to understand the different kinds of different realities, wholesome or unwholesome. When it's not self, what is it? That which cannot experience anything at all, or that which experiences an object in different manners, different characteristics, and different function, and then gone from moment to moment. Just have more confidence of the truth. That's the way to understand better and better, and the object can appear clearer and clearer. But what we mean by clearer is very, very little at a time. Cannot be known how subtle it is. Just right now, this moment, the understanding of the truth can let go the clinging to the idea of self naturally by itself. That's why
Can
we
I ask a,
understand the difference between wrong understanding and right understanding of whatever is now appearing.
can I ask a question?
Please.
What I understand is that when you intellectually understand that there is no self, but there are only phenomena arising and passing away, I experience that my mind is clinging to a self. So it is at a certain level rejecting that understanding. And I wonder what would be the right attitude towards that.
Yes, but can there be the explanation of what is that which is taken for self? Where is it?
Not intellectually, no, not intellectually. But it's a strong inclination from within. So there's a lot of protest against letting go of self.
But from hearing again and again of the truth, what is it? And understand that which is taken for self as not self, little by little. It will let go very gradually the idea of self, which clings to whatever is there as I all the time, no matter it is seeing, hearing, liking, whatever is there. When it's not known, it's I all the time. But to think over it, consider it. If seeing does not arise at all, can there be I see?
No.
So who can make seeing to arise?
Nobody can.
But there must be condition for its arising, because since no one can make it arise and it cannot arise by itself, but there must be conditions for its arising.
Yes.
So it arises and falls away because there's not seeing all the time. We take it in a day, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, seeing, that's all in a day, no matter what day. Only 6 doorways, 6 different objects. One which can be seen, the other can be heard, and the other can be smelled and tasted and touched, and thinking about that which has show up as something experienced by that which arises to see it, to hear it. And where are they now? All gone completely, never to return. So in reality, what can be the I at all? It's gone completely, never to return. This moment it is I hear, and then it's gone. I see, it's gone. Nothing can
Yes.
last at all.
Yes, that's very enlightening. And still, I'm not so much worried, but I'm just curious that still the inclination from within is a lot of protest, and I suppose also fear of following that reasoning, because it's sort of thinning the self, and that's fearful.
Yes,
And
that's
the fear sort of blocks the
yeah,
the understanding. And
that's
I think
that.
it's just realizing that also that fear and also that protest is just phenomena caused by conditions, and sort of relaxing it a little, just let it go and pass. That's the way I treat it now. And just trying to see what the mind allows me to see, and see if there's any protest, and just let the protest come and go.
Seeing the mind too.
Do I see the mind? Well, I see the protest. I see the protest, and I see the aversion, and I see the fear.
So the question is what is meant by mind and seeing.
Yes. Yes, it is clinging to self. I can see that. So what intellectually I see that it's just that it must be phenomena arising. So it's mind with aversion, and mind with lobe, and mind with fear. So which are all short phenomena. I can see
if
that.
seeing does not arise and mind does not arise, can there be mind and seeing?
I'm sorry? Can you repeat it?
Seeing does not arise and mind does not arise, can we still think that there's seeing, there's mind?
No, I can't. No.
So mind is not permanent.
No, it isn't.
Seeing is not permanent.
No, it's not.
Can the seeing now rise again to be the same one?
No.
So it's gone completely, never to return at all.
Yes.
So where's the I?
The I is in the clinging to self and in the fear.
It's thinking, right? It's not
Yes, it
seeing,
is.
it's not hearing. So
And conditioning.
how come the idea of I, if there's no reality which experiences an object?
Can you repeat the question?
How can there be the I if there is no reality which experiences an object?
No, there can't be an I. If there's no reality There cannot be an either way, I think.
Mhm. So actually, what is taken for I is that which experiences an object.
That's what I suppose that's what's been taken for an I.
Because usually we think that I see, right?
Yes.
But if seeing does not arise, never arise, can there be I see?
No, that can't.
So what is taken for I, can we say seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, when it arises and experiences an object only?
I don't understand the question.
Because you see that seeing experiences an object, right?
Yes.
Visible object.
Yes.
And thinking, experience, thought or idea or something.
Yes.
Right? But
Yes.
if these two, or the reality which arises to experience, does not arise at all, never arise, can there be I?
No, there can't.
So we take that which experiences as I, because not understanding the truth of it. What conditions it's to arise is not known at all. So when it's there and no understanding of it as it is, just being conditioned to arise and then fall away instantly, never to return. And how can that be the I? Because the idea of I is so very permanent. Always I, all the time. Not understanding that what is taken for I is the reality which arises and experience an object and fall away instantly from moment to moment.
Yes, I understand, and I understand, and that understanding brings fear now. I experience now fear of letting go of the I, which is interesting.
Yes, I think that.
Yes, please.
Mark, you mentioned the fear of letting go of self, and that, of course, is an accumulated tendency.
Yes.
That will arise when there are the conditions for thinking about it.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary to think about letting go of self and how to let go of self or what it will mean when self is let go of.
No.
Because the letting go of self that the Buddha talked about and that Ajahn has been describing happens incidentally to the development of awareness and understanding of conditioned realities.
Yes.
And it happens very, very gradually.
Yes.
One is not aware, one is not conscious that when there's a moment of awareness and understanding, there is a little bit of letting go of the idea of self.
Yes.
And so the increments are very, very tiny. And it is when it has been sufficiently developed that the fear will become less. But until then, if there's the accumulated tendency to be fearful of the notion of letting go of the idea of self, then the fear will continue to arise.
Yes.
So I don't think you need worry about the fear blocking the understanding, because the understanding in question is just the understanding of conditioned realities, the seeing, the visible object, the hearing and the sound, the thinking. And if this understanding is being developed, then so is the letting go of self, but ever so subtly and imperceptibly, that will also develop.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I understand. The thing only is the question is about when I intellectually understand the not being there of self, and at the same time experiencing the clinging to self, which really is there. There are sort of two truths at that time. And I wonder what to do with those two truths. One I understand intellectually should be the real truth, and the other one, the other truth coming within, being caused by the fear, I think, or what you say, with conditionings. So I wonder what to do. What I do is just relaxing it, just notice those truths are there. And
I think
don't
that
hurry.
that intellectual understanding of the non-existence of self that you mentioned is just thinking. It's just a kind of thinking.
Yes.
We can call it an understanding because it's a conceptual understanding.
Yes.
But the understanding of no self, the actual understanding of no self, that arises with panya, actual panya arising, is not going to happen by that kind of intellectual thinking that you are talking about. Because that is just the common or garden conventional thinking. Okay, we can reason that when they're seeing, it's not blah, blah, blah. So again, it has to come back to the direct understanding of what is appearing at the present moment.
Right.
Because self never appears as such, only the idea of self appears. When there's the idea of a self, then the reality at that moment is the thinking.
Right.
And
yes. So what at the moment of that confusion, there is the seeing that there is an inclination of believing in self, and that is enough. I just have to notice that there is an intellectual understanding, and there is some fear of letting go of self, and that is just what is happening at that time.
It's just another moment of thinking.
Yes.
So when we tell ourselves that it's fear and blah, 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 that's the story of the present moment, just like if we're eating some tasty food and we tell ourselves that's attachment to the food and so forth. It's the story of what's happening at the present moment. It's
yes,
not
but the fear is more than thinking. I think it's really
yes.
It's really a certain consciousness with a certain characteristics
that anyone can recognize. You don't have to. One doesn't have to have heard the Buddha's teaching to recognize fear in oneself or attachment to tasty food, for example.
Yes.
But there is still the inclination to follow the story of what is happening at the present moment, rather than there to be the understanding of some reality that is appearing at the present moment. Right?
Yes.
Because we are inclined to think about these things. We think about the teaching of not self, what it means, when it might arise, that sort of thing. But awareness and understanding don't necessarily take as an object what we happen to be thinking about.
Yes.
So when they arise, the object that is taken by awareness and understanding is conditioned by conditions that are beyond our comprehension. Just like we don't know why there is like or dislike for particular things or fear or whatever. We just know that they can present.
So what I hear you saying is that when I experience those two truths, what can show the truth is is just paying attention to what is happening now.
Well,
Is
is that right? Would that be right? Or
I would think so, yes.
I mean,
But I'm a meditator, which is
from what you've said, yes. So that I think that is the case, that the fear of letting go of self arises when there is thinking about the subject of self and not self.
true. That's true.
And in the Buddha's teaching, it is not suggested we should contemplate that as something to be thought about.
But
That can be one of the dangers of focusing on a certain object that we might think is important to consider and to come to grips with, but it may not be the case, and it might be getting us into difficulties.
Right.
It's not allowing awareness and understanding to arise naturally.
Right. That's why I say relax. Just relax in what's happening at the time. Just seeing those truths and paying attention to what is happening now. Nothing more than that. But what would you think would be the best attitude when I come across those two truths?
What is the reality at that moment?
Right.
Not clinging to attitude, because we are so used to think of a situation and things that stay on even a little. And then it's hard, it's quite new for us and for the newcomers, but also for us, that only reality through one of the 6 doors, and that it, as Ajahn says time and again, it's gone immediately. So it's gone, and that means it's like it's not there, or it's nothing, or something. We take it for something, and it's quite a new attitude. And then it takes really time to approach a new attitude. So we don't have to think of attitude, because it's again a self who has to do this or take a new idea. It's really difficult for everybody, really. It doesn't matter.
So I think it comes down to doing nothing. And then the question is, how do we do nothing?
It's not a matter of doing or not doing, or what to do, or having to notice or pay attention or to relax or have a different attitude, because this is all the idea of I doing something, which causes all the difficulty and frustration, because in truth there are just these different realities arising by conditions, not I that can do or not do or relax or pay attention. And when you said before that at the same time there's understanding about the dhammas, but also the rejecting and protesting at the same time, but what we learn is that the mind changes at each moment. The citta and cetasikas arise and fall away at each moment. So when there are moments of understanding, at those moments of understanding, there cannot be any fear or clinging or rejection or protest at those moments. And at other moments, there is doubt, and other moments still there is fear and disliking and protest about what has been heard. So different moments. So understanding itself doesn't bring any fear or protest. The fear or then the protest arise with dosa-mula cittas, when there is aversion and disliking what has been heard because of thinking about it. So different moments. So it's not a matter of stopping the fear or changing it or having a different attitude, but just beginning to understand a little more about the reality at this moment. So at the moment of seeing, no fear, no protest, no understanding. At other moments, at moments of wise considering, there's understanding, but they fall away instantly. And then clinging to the idea that there is a self that should be able to do something, different moments, but they fall away too. The fear just for a moment and then gone. Nothing lasts at all. So gradually,
Yes.
as the understanding moments develop, there's less and less idea of what should I do? How can I change my attitude? How can I relax more and stop having fear? Because that's just thinking with the clinging to I at those moments. But it has to be like that.
Yes, I know. But what is very interesting is that what you are describing is a process which is visible during meditation, which is which is in my opinion very interesting. But the thing is what I said, like the helpful, without me trying to get that attitude, the helpful attitude at those moments which I describe is doing nothing. So there, that would be helpful if there is recognition of no self doing nothing at that time. That is the attitude which will bring the most understanding.
I would rather put it not doing nothing, but it's not necessary to do anything in particular.
Right.
So one just lets one just acts naturally.
Right. That's nice.
One is acting naturally.
Right.
Because if there is...
And that's not something we should try to accomplish, but it's something which may happen and may be recognized by consciousness.
If our actions are motivated by the underlying notion that a certain way of behavior or a certain way of thinking will bring some kind of result in terms of awareness and understanding or wholesome mental states, then it's going to be difficult.
Right.
If one can let go of that idea, then that is the letting go that is needed, I think. And after that, it's simple because it's not a case of doing anything or thinking a certain way. It's a case of keeping in mind the words of the Buddha, that about what is appearing at the present moment and what can be understood.
Right. Thank you. Very enlightening. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Shanti.
It's a bit about, again, you called it protest. I was very happy reading the Chaitasikas of Nina, and then something caught my eye, and then fear also, but I'm not doing anything with it. But yet I'd like to ask what it means. It says that the object of the Patisandhi Chitta, the Bhavanga Chittas, and the Kuti Chitta is the same as the object experienced by the Javana Chittas, which arose shortly before the Kuti Chitta of the previous life. We don't know what the object is, but since I remember the proximate cause for sanya is an object, and also in a life, although we don't know it, there's mostly Bhavanga Chittas, and the thinking concludes, well, then it's very predetermined by little Javana Chitta what object is predominant for sanya in a life stream. So I was hoping you'd get me back on my feet here. Thank you.
I just want to ask Sita if you are familiar with these Pali terms, Sita.
Yeah. Okay, moment. Yeah, I am learning Pali. I'm also learning the suttas, and I'm also meditating. So all this my experience, what I see as perception. During my meditation, I see the rise and fall, and I feel that the mind feels. Actually, it's the sensation. Yeah, and then I know at this very moment, I just let it go. I just let it go, and after sometimes I start pondering over it, and I see that something new arises in me, and that is the wisdom, and it continues. That is I'm doing it always in a retreat. So all this, when I do meditation at home, I don't see so much as when I'm in a retreat, because there I do. You meditate intensively for a long time, so you experience all these, like the thoughts, they come sometimes, they are so stubborn. I just want to let it go. It takes me sometimes that I have to open my eyes just to let it go.
And the point always comes back to now, because actually whatever the Buddha taught, the different realities are all about this moment. So the Bhavanga Chittas that Chanti was referring to, the life continuum Chittas, actually they're rising and falling away even now in between the different processes. Experience the object that's completely unknown. The seeing is now, the hearing is now. What different people refer to as meditation, the development of understanding and awareness, has to be now, because if we wait until we're in another place, or we have our eyes closed, or we're sitting in a different posture, it's like putting off the task or the idea that I can develop more understanding at a different time. So always back to now. Can anyone do anything right now? Can anyone stop seeing arising now? Can anyone decide what is seen now? Can anyone stop thinking about the self at this moment, if there is thinking about the self? If there is no fear now, can there be any understanding of fear? So the understanding, the mental development, has to be at this very moment, always. Otherwise, it's like putting off the task, the idea that I can do something special at another time, but not understanding the realities now. And there are two kinds of realities: those that experience an object, like seeing and hearing and thinking, and those which don't experience anything, like the visible object that is seen, the sound that is heard. So by understanding more about the different realities now, this is the way that there can be the development of understanding. We can say bhavana, which is sometimes translated as meditation, but it has to be at this moment, not at a special time or a different place, because life is just in this moment. And just briefly on Chanti's point, and then we can get back to your point, Sita. So as Chanti said, the object of the birth consciousness, the Bhavanga Chittas, the life continuum Chittas, and the death consciousness, the Chuti Chitta, it's exactly the same object experienced by them all. And it's the same object of the last Javana Chittas in the last life, conditioned by karma in the past. We don't know what karma, we don't know whether it was aeons and aeons ago, lifetimes ago, or in that life itself. But the karma in the past, the particular strong karma, conditioned those last Javana Chittas to experience that particular object, which is the same unknown object of those Vipaka Chittas, the Patisandhi, the Bhavanga and the Chuti Chittas during this life. And the object will never be known, and it's unimportant, so there's no point in speculating. but it's conditioned by the karma from the past, the particular karma.
I'm not sure if I agree. It's we cannot know it, but I'm not sure it's not important because it's so so much present.
The reason it can't be known is because the Bhavanga Citas don't experience their object through any doorway, through a sense doorway or through the mind doorway. So they're the Citas that experience their object in between the sense doorways and the mind door. So it can never be known through sense door or through the mind door.
No, but I'm
appear.
referring to Sanya, which does remember it at those moments. And it is a huge conditioning going on all the time. I mean, it's a whole lifetime. So it does have an effect as well in the present, I mean.
So it's true there is an effect, like the birth consciousness determines the life and the personality during this life. So for us, it's the result of kusala karma. There is the birth in the human realm, and the vipaka citas are all kusala vipaka citas experiencing their particular object. But Sanya arises with each of those citas and marks that object, but it's not known, the object that is experienced.
I know, but what does this say about Sanya, which is also there in citas that are known?
Because the Sanya that arises with those vipaka citas, just like the Sanya that arises with seeing or hearing, it's vipaka, it's result. It's not the Sanya that accumulates. For example, at moments of when there is fear that Mark was talking about, the Sanya marks and remembers that object of thinking with fear, thinking and fear about this losing the self, and it remembers that and conditions more thinking about that, thinking with fear about not wanting to lose the self. It accumulates, different from the Sanya that arises with the vipaka citas, with the like the Bhavanga citas.
And that's very important. So there you saved me. Because I didn't understand it as that. Yes, of course, it doesn't accumulate. Oh,
So there's a difference between the realities that are result
yes.
of karma, and those which are kusala and akusala, like the fear or the clinging are kusala citas rising together with sanya, akusala sanya, which conditions thinking, akusala thinking about
I read it
one's
wrong.
afraid about.
Yeah, because the Patisanda citta as a human rebirth is a gift. So I thought that is kusala, but it's different.
We
it's
call it
vipaka.
kusala vipaka, but that just means it's the result of kusala karma. It's not kusala itself. It's just result. Yeah.
Okay.
Different from kusala and akusala citas that follow. Yeah.
I thought if it was not vipaka, I didn't get that, then of course it would have been a big accumulation, but it does not. Thank you. Yes, great.
And
I think that there are many misunderstandings, that people think they can see the arise and fall of realities, but this is a higher stage of panya. First, there must be very clear understanding what nama is and what rupa is, and this is already very difficult. So one should not underestimate this. It may be thinking about arising and falling away, but not of this reality right now at the present moment, which arises and falls away.
Yes, but it's so important that I could ask this now, because now it's not going into that wrong direction anymore. for this bit, small bit.
So Sita, you mentioned about the different experiences, like when you are meditating. What about now? What is real now? What are the realities at this moment?
When I close my eyes, and I was, I know when meditating, it was about the past. And when I open my eyes, I recollect the reality at this present moment, that and it's impermanent and it's gone after 1 hour of meditation. So I was start pondering and start thinking over it for 10 minutes, and by, oh, then I learned to let it go, letting go during meditation. When I was closing my eyes, that I remember, oh, this is past experience. These are all my past experience. And then at the same time, I'm also feeling the rise and fall. That was, I was doing Satipatthana. And then I was feeling the rise and fall, and then I start, that was my first experience. But by and by, I get to understand these are all perception. Perception.
What about now? Because now your eyes are open and we're not focusing on any particular object. So what is the reality now? What is the reality of life at this moment now?
That there are all thoughts. There are all thoughts, and at the moment, then I start to understand the truth, and I experience also the wisdom. It was very different when I opened my eyes. I realized it's the wisdom. I get the wisdom.
And in truth, does anyone have wisdom, or does wisdom arise by its own conditions and fall away? Does it belong to you or to anyone, or is it just a reality that arises and falls away?
It is the reality that after this rise and fall of this phenomena, then there arises a form of wisdom. Then you start thinking over it. That is the truth.
Right.
Yeah,
so
investigating
there's thinking now, thinking about different ideas, thinking about the truths, thinking about different experiences. What about, is there any seeing now, or any hearing now? Any feeling now? What kind of realities are there at this moment? Because there isn't wisdom all the time. What other realities are there besides thinking now?
The reality, you're not, that is quite two different worlds. During meditation, you're aware that these senses, they are the one are capturing all over what is a sound, ears and nose. But when you open your eyes, you are not aware of these senses.
Is there any sense now?
No, you don't notice it.
But whether it's noticed or not, is there any eye sense now? Is there any seeing now? Is anything seen now?
There is a difference.
But life is just at this moment, so we're talking about this moment.
Yeah, that is a difference between them. You realize that it's only now and then, only at this moment.
Right. So let's.
And it's not permanent.
It's not permanent. So now at this moment, there must
it always changes.
It always changes. But what is it that changes? There must be moments of seeing. There must be moments of hearing.
Is it the object?
There couldn't be thinking about what is seen or thinking about what is heard.
It's just the object.
Is seeing the object, or what is the object that is seen?
Seeing is these senses, the sense, these 5 senses. You're seeing, hearing.
Okay.
They are the one that.
Can we say seeing is the experiencing? And what does the seeing see now?
This by seeing, you start clinging. You see, and then you start to say, oh, if nice, I cling to it. If not nice, I just leave it. So I would, it's to be aware, not to cling. Not to cling to whether it's nice or not nice. If you are able, then, or something that can be wholesome or unwholesome.
Can we say that? Can we say now that there is seeing, moments of seeing, and what is seen is just that which is visible, and then the thinking and the clinging arises at different moments, but at the moment of seeing, it just arises and sees what is visible. We can call it the visible object. And then it falls away, and then afterwards there's thinking and clinging, but it's not my clinging or my thinking or my seeing. They're just different realities, those realities which experience an object like seeing or hearing and thinking, and those realities that don't experience anything like the visible object or the sound.
Through seeing, and then you see that it's, oh, it's nice, and then you start clinging. You start clinging, and we are not aware that we are clinging to it.
Right. So it has to come back to this moment to understand what the truth, what the reality is at this moment, not wait for another time. So now there is seeing and hearing and moments of thinking and moments of clinging, but not my clinging, not my seeing, not my thinking, just different realities that arise and fall away. I'll pass it to Ajahn, who I'm sure would like to talk to you too, or add some more comments.
Okay, thank you.
Shall we talk just about one word at a time in order to really understand the truth of it? For example, is there any truth in life? True in not my idea or anyone's idea, but the truth itself. Is there any in life? And what truth?
Truth in me, okay. Good afternoon, Ajahn Suchin. Yeah, that is the truth in life. And then whether you, some people have to accept the truth, but it is the truth, that is the reality. And we can experience this truth through meditation. You see the truth very clearly.
But someone asks, what is meditation? What's the answer?
Yeah, sometimes I go on a retreat, and before some there are a lot of people, different nationality, and then to accept the truth, you have to do your own experience. Then you accept the truth. And I'm a follower of truth, and as well as a faith follower. So the truth, I see the truth and I experience the truth very well. And I just before I do meditation, this is a vipassana meditation. Before I did it, it was you see the truth theoretically, but then now is I experience the truth, inner truth, outwardly and inwardly.
To understand retreat.
Yeah.
But retreat.
Yeah, I do a retreat every year. Now I've been doing it for 5 years.
Is it? What is it? I'd like to understand. What you mean retreat? What is it?
Retreat is that you do a 10 days 10 days meditation.
And what is meditation?
10 days
You
meditation.
don't have any idea at all. It's good before doing anything, following anything. Otherwise, it's like blind follow what's there as not known clearly. So meditation.
Yeah, I do this Satipatthana meditation.
What is sati and what is dhamma?
Sati is concentration, is establishing awareness.
Is concentration the same as awareness?
Yeah.
Is
Through that.
the same as attachment?
Attachment. Yeah, we learn not to investigate the Dhamma.
And Dhamma, please.
Dhamma, yeah. During this meditation, I learn. I see many things happening with the body. Then was doing this.
Anyone who doesn't have the understanding of meditation, Thana, and Dhamma, shall they learn a little bit about what, for example, is you said a moment ago, what's Dhamma?
Yeah, we do. The first one was this Kaya Nupassana, and then it comes to the Kaya Nupassana and Chitta Nupassana, and the third was the Dhamma Nupassana. And
so about it, they don't have any understanding of Kaya Nupassana or Chitta Nupassana. Just what about the word Dhamma? If you heard about Dhamma and Dhamma, truth.
Yeah, Dhamma is truth, and then you experience that's very clearly when you investigate, especially in this. There was one in Chitta Nupassana, on Vedana Nupassana.
Seeing now, it's seeing a Dhamma.
Dhamma, you see, yeah, when I meditate, I see the Buddha Dhamma.
Is there only truth in meditation? Can there be no life? It's only meditation center. What is the truth and what is Dhamma? And what's right understanding and what is meditation? Retreat.
Dhamma is truth. Dhamma. I see Dhamma as truth. I see Dhamma as a beauty. I see as a.
So, is seeing a Dhamma beautiful, the truth, so real, appearing?
Yeah.
So, is seeing Dhamma a Dhamma?
See, how can you experience Dhamma and then you put it into practice?
No, not yet, not yet. Is seeing real?
Seeing.
Is it then now seeing? Is real?
Seeing. between, I'm so confused between seeing and awareness.
No, let's talk about seeing right now. Is it real? Is it Dhamma? Is it true?
Truth. That seeing is truth. But you see, and
So what? Yeah.
it's
So what is
like
the truth of seeing? Because seeing is now. So true, they're seeing right now. But what true seeing? Is there
through.
any truth of seeing?
Now the truth of seeing. That's mean, how can I say? You see, you understand the truth.
Sita, just to interrupt a moment, Ajahn by seeing is talking about seeing consciousness, seeing through the eyes, not like understanding. So seeing like hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. So seeing consciousness, seeing which experience is a visible object.
That is the consciousness in mean,
Yes,
it's true.
Not seeing in the sense of understanding, but seeing which experiences through the eyes, what is visible now.
Yeah.
Real now? Is it a Dhamma now?
How can I see Dhamma in a different. I see that seeing is all these are clinging. I understand that the five senses, they are clinging. Am I right?
Is there experiencing of the sense object before there is clinging? There must be, right? Before there can be clinging to what is seen, there has to be the experiencing.
The contact.
Exactly.
The contact.
Well, there has to be the experiencing of the visible before there can be attachment. There has to be the experiencing of sound before there can be attachment to sound.
Okay,
right? So Ajahn is asking you about the moment of just seeing or just hearing before there is any clinging.
There is the contact.
Are those moments real? Are they dhammas? Are they conditioned realities?
And is seeing Chittanupassana Sripatthana?
There's
understanding of seeing. How can it be Satipatthana?
Yes, I understand. That's Dhamma. Buddha says that this consciousness.
What and what Dhamma?
Buddha said there's this consciousness that we, through contact with the object.
If there's no understanding of Dhamma, understanding Kaya Sripatthana, Vedananupasana Sripatthana, Chittanupassana Sripatthana, and Dhammanupassana Sripatthana.
Yeah.
So it's just the words. No one can understand, just the word. But the reality is there now to be known. It is so real. Moment seeing nothing is as real as the moment seeing itself. Only seeing is there, but no understanding seeing. Understanding is meant by God. So how can there be the letting go of I see? Even when those attention center without understanding what is there as Dhamma. More than that, what is Dhamma? With experience an object, different state, different function, that we cannot experience an object. All of them are things and people, right or wrong. And what is meant by enlightenment? it does mean not understanding what is there at all. Because in life appears it's real, because they're in that very moment. So learn to understand, developing the understanding of the truth, what is there at a moment right now. Otherwise, going to the meditation center, what is the object of understanding? Is it different, same, seeing right now, seeing anytime, thinking now, or thinking anytime, thinking. It cannot see, it cannot hear, and seeing cannot think. Different realities in Dhamma. The absolute reality must have its characteristic to be known. It is its function when it's the experiencing an object. Some reality which can experience the object, experience with attachment, and some with aversion, some with favorable, and some awesome reality arising. See?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there must be the understanding of the Buddha's word of truth, like what is there now? The other moment, the moment before this has gone, after this moment has gone, and that which has happened later is now more present moment and gone. Unknowingly, no understanding of the truth. It's so true that the moment of seeing is not the moment of hearing, not the moment of thinking. When they are not known, there must be ignorance of that which experiences as I like, I dislike. But if like does not arise, how can there be I like? I know. When there's no understanding at all, can there be I know or I understand?
Mm-hmm.
And if one follow the method, how can there be the understanding of what is there even at the meditation center? There must be seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. But there are two different kinds of idea of thinking: wrong understanding, right understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. True. Thank
So,
you.
no matter where, when there is a reality there, it depends on ignorance or right understanding of the truth of it. Because it's so true, but what is the truth of it? It is there by conditions, just appearing and then disappear instantly. This is the absolute truth.
Thank you. It's true.
Way to let go the idea of self. But the intention is not just to let go the idea of self, but to understand the truth. And even that which understand is not me. It's a reality different from ignorance. That's why we learn to understand any moment, because it's so true. What is there? What are there? Like Chitta and Chittasika arising together. It depends on whether it is the development of understand the truth of Chitta. So it is Chittanupassana Satipatthana. And when it's Dhamma, anything, no matter what, arises in false way, in different manners, can be known as not self. Anywhere to let go. Otherwise, thinking just to let go somewhere and something is not the real letting go of wrong understanding at all, because at the time it's there again. That's why before doing anything or thing that I can do, there should be the understanding of what is there from the very beginning, to consider carefully, wisely of the truth, about the truth, the absolute truth. Nobody can change. Even while we are talking, they are seeing, moment of seeing, arising and falling away, unknown. We do not make it arise. No one can make it arise, but it's there by conditions. And there are so many different conditions for each moment to be known, to be learned, to understand the truth. No one there at all. That's why in truth, what is there appearing? One is that which experiences. The other is that which cannot experience anything. Is it not true, even right now at this moment?
Yeah, it's true. Thank you. It's true. It's happened now.
And there can be a moment of beginning to have confidence of the truth of it, little by little. Very natural, as natural by conditions. Even thinking right now, it's conditioned why we think differently, different idea.
Yeah.
To learn that actually there's no one and no thing. What we take for me or people or things are only different realities arising, that appears and disappear instantly, so rapidly that it's not known as it is. As actually that which is seen is so very, very minute, very subtle, not just everything appearing together. The proof is that as soon as one closes one's eyes, they are all gone. What is appearing now? Everything gone. No window, no bed, no shoe, or in a sudden, never there. Because no seeing of just one single reality at a time so rapidly, which form up the shape and form to be known as something. That's why it is nimitta, just the sign or the mark of that which arising and falling away in very rapid succession of rapidity. And that can be known because Buddha has developed his understanding with parami so long to understand the truth. And after his enlightenment, he said, Dhamma are so very subtle, very, very difficult to discern, to understand. But it can be understood, so he taught the way. And that is the understanding from the very beginning, to understand it so true. And when the confidence of the truth is strong enough, we don't know when we're a conditioned moment of direct awareness, which is satipatthana, with understanding. Otherwise, it's useless. It cannot be satipatthana when it cannot understand the truth of just one reality which appears, which later it can appear better and better, clearer and clearer. And what Buddha said is so true. It's only a moment of experiencing an object. And what is meant by an object, no other thing there at all. Different world. Of things and people anymore, because there's understanding one characteristic at a time, which is different from just beginning to learn about it, that now seeing is not hearing, it's not thinking. But even so, so many moments of seeing can be known as the mark or the sign of seeing, the nimitta of seeing. Because just one single reality cannot be known according to the process of experiencing an object one moment at a time. Otherwise, it doesn't mean enlightenment at all.
Yeah.
So, in the Buddha's time, no place to be called meditation center at all. because the truth can be known anytime by conditions without any understanding at all. How can it condition moment of direct awareness of just our reality right now, not other realities together, just one only? And by then, it's known as Satipatthana, because it begins to understand that characteristic which is aware of just one at a time. For example, hardness now. Does it appear one at a time at that moment? Nothing can appear at all. No flower, no house, no window, nothing, no sound, because only one at a time. Otherwise, it cannot lead to the experiencing, penetrating the truth which is now arising and falling away all the time, so rapidly. If that is not developed to that degree, it cannot eradicate the idea of self, which has been accumulated years and years ago, uncountable, and more in next life, when there's no understanding at all. So there's no other way, only what Buddha said. There must be pariyati, so skillful in understanding the truth of the Four Noble Truths, what is meant by dukkha ariya satya, and the condition of dukkha is the attachment with ignorance. Now, who knows that there is attachment to the object which is seen already by conditions, that by the accumulation. So very subtle as asava. That's why we feel all the time, I see, I hear, I think, because of that which arises 3 moments after seeing or hearing or whatever, to the sensor. Unknown, but it's there. I see now, I hear now. Even no word, it's there. No one, I, at moment of seeing, at moment of hearing. That's why if there's not enough confidence of the truth, there is no condition for direct awareness with understanding to begin to understand directly of the object as it is, until it can appear just one. Who can imagine what is meant only one single object and the experience, not the same reality. One experiences and the other cannot experience. No doubt about the nature of that which is not that which can experience the object, and that which experience an object. Even that the two, for example, right now, hardness is only hardness when it is experienced. No desk, no computer, nothing at all. But it cannot experience an object. And at that very moment, that which experiences it doesn't have shape and form and color or visible object at all. No doubt about what is that reality which has no shape and form at all. Just experience, arising, experiencing, that's all. Not the same one, not the single one, like seeing and hearing. Only one cannot be the object, because it has to be nimitta, by way of the arising and falling away condition, that which can be known as this or this or this or this. No need to go anywhere at all. Any time, any place, as Buddha said. No gap, no grow. I mean that it's useful, it's beneficial to be conditioned to be direct awareness with direct understanding of that very object which it's aware of. Anytime by conditions, that's the way to let go the idea of self or permanent thing as it appears as rose or table or chair. In truth, no thing, no one, and even that which arises and experience falls away, never to return. Just consider whether it's true or not. Only that, nothing to do, because no one there. Right understanding performs its function of understanding on and on and on and on when it's there. But when it's not there, if someone tries so hard to know it, to do to the way that they think, it can lead to understanding. It's impossible, because understanding means now. What level? Intellectual understanding. There is seeing which sees no one. It is the time to develop the understanding of the characteristic which is there from birth, arising and falling away, on and on, to the moment of death, and on after death. No one can stop the conditions for the arising and falling away of that which now arises, experiences, an object all the time. Never lost, all there by conditions. Even while one is as fast asleep or just wake up or at any time, it's there. Different realities by conditions. And this is the beginning to have firm confidence of the truth. Because there are always moments of forgetting about the truth all the time. Very few moments by conditions and more by conditions, or it can't understand any object so well by conditions, or by conditions. Who knows what condition would be next moment?
Thank you.
So going somewhere to think that it's the place very suitable for development of understanding, is it right?
Okay. Thank you.
Expectation is there unknowingly. Attachment is there unknowingly. But Panya, right understanding, begins to understand the characteristic which conditions dukkha, Ariya Satya. It's there. That's right. Understanding changes the way of life little by little, unknowingly, by conditions, not by me, try so hard to change.
Thank you.
And without this level of understanding, can there be more realization of the truth? Impossible. That's why the 12th round of Ariya Satya, or round of intellectual understanding of the Four Noble Truth, and the second round, Patipatti, directly understanding the truth of whatever is now appearing, and the third, Pativeda, realization of the truth. Unexpectedly, otherwise it cannot let go the idea of self at all. I can do, I have done it, I tried, and so on. It's wrong. Because it cannot let go the idea of self of the five khandas, Rupa Khanda, Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhara Khanda, Vijnana Khanda. All five means any moment, every moment when there's no understanding. What is there? Ignorance and attachment, for sure. Very, very subtle as asava. That's why I learned to understand the words of the enlightenment, because he taught the absolute truth that can be realized, because it's now there. Without his word, no understanding about its truth at all. So what is true? It's this very moment. What is there is so true, so real. Seeing is Dhamma, Adhamma. Anything which is real, which is conditioned to arise, to be such reality, Nobody can change the way it is at all. It's Dhamma.
Thank you.
We think that we think, but what is there? See? A reality, experiences, thought, or idea, or something. How many cetasikas? And what cetasika perform the function of thinking in such way? Because there are many, many realities, as many factors. Everything cannot be the same one or single one, same kind, same object, but can be same kind. Citta is citta, but it's different by cetasikas which arise with it. The citta before seeing cannot see. So the seeing has different cetasika, not as the one which arises before seeing. Learn to understand little by little to have more confidence of the truth. That's all.
Thank you.
It cannot be in this life because the ignorance and attachment has been accumulated for how long? So how can it all be eradicated so soon in this life? Impossible. The truth is the truth. Understanding is understanding. Ignorance is ignorance. Attachment is attachment. Whether it's known or not, nobody can change the way it is. Because actually, there's no one at all and no thing, only different realities from life to life, moment to moment. And that is the meaning of anatta and Dhamma. All Dhammas are anatta. More confidence of the truth.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
No matter what kind of feeling is there, and then gone.
Mhm. But thank you so much that you see the truth when when I see that when I meditate, I see so many things happening.
Who conditioned that?
Pardon?
Who conditioned such happenings? No one. But wrong understanding is there.
Yeah.
Wrong understanding is there. What did you see?
Yeah, I see sometimes during the close the eyes, you see the past experiences, and when you open your eyes, it was only like an illusion. It was gone. It was gone, and you're at the present moment. Then you realize that that was the past, and then you live for the present moment. It enables you to see clearly.
Is there any understanding of that?
Yeah, you understand that you live now, you live for the present moment, and that was the past. It's gone. It's gone.
If it's so true, why do you have to go to meditation center?
Yeah, I do. I go there I read books, I read the suttas, and then I walk the path. So I go there for the retreat so that I help in that. I help by the Dhamma work also there. Every year I go there.
What is it what is it told to do like that in the Tipitaka? Did Buddha say anything about going to meditation center and do this and that?
No,
So
I.
it's wrong or right? Because the truth is the truth anywhere, anytime, any moment, by conditions. But when there is the idea of going somewhere, it's not by conditions. It's by the idea of going there. Expectation is there to get something for self, not letting go. No understanding, naturally by conditions, unexpectedly because there are conditions for that moment to arise. No one is there to do it or to condition it or make it up.
Because I thought it's a Dhamma. I go and help there. I help them to sew their meditation covers for the sitting meditation. And by doing it, I feel the joy of helping.
Yes, but what is the truth of that? Is it you?
Because I do my meditation there once a year in the retreat, so I just like to. It is for me a joy to help them, to give back in return.
And what is joy? Is it you?
If you can experience joy in doing something, and I makes me believe that there's a joy. This gives me joy, and I found the truth.
What is the truth of joy?
This is Dhamma.
Not you.
Yeah.
Or you. What about all dhammas are anatta? No me, no mine, not mine at all. Dhamma does not belong to anyone because it's conditioned to arise. As soon as it has arisen, it falls away, never to return at all. Can it be I? Or it is just a conditioned Dhamma? And when it's so true, the truth can be this moment. Why go to meditation center? Is there any expectation to get something, to have joy, but no understanding of what is there now? So what is so true? That which is conditioned, not that I like to do it.
Yeah.
It's very important to be truthful to the truth. Otherwise, there cannot be the realization of whatever is now. The 10 parami is so important too, because only right understanding itself cannot arise without the support of many conditions. To be so truthful to the truth is truth no matter where. Even one does not go to meditation center, but there can be the understanding of what is there unexpectedly, and only by unexpected it can condition more confidence of the truth. That it does not belong to anyone. understanding what it's meant by Dhamma is clearer that it's Dhamma. And what is Dhamma? No one and no thing and no self. Even joy is not me. Saying is not me. Everything is not me. Otherwise, this is me. I'm so very happy, very pleasant. And what about the other? At moment of like or dislike? In a day, attached to the sensuous object as conditioned, to understand because it's conditioned, it cannot be taken for anyone at all, because it arises and then gone. It arises by conditions. As soon as it has a reason by condition, it's gone. No condition for it anymore.
Thank you. That means the joy that is not me, the joy is that I help in the Dhamma. That was the joy then.
All Dhammas, what is there at that very moment is so real, it is conditioned to arise and fall away instantly, never to return at all. Nothing can be taken for I or things lasting at all. Is that not true? Just be truthful to the truth.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ajahn Suchin, to realize that.
Just consider it again and again and again. That's the way to understand what is true and what is not true. And what is the object of attachment. So very tricky. Because it's attachment to the pleasant feeling. No matter it is the attachment to the pleasant feeling or dosa, dislike it, no matter what, as long as there is no understanding of the truth, it's me. Because who can be there? The moment of that which experience an object and no one. So it's me. But actually no me when there is the understanding. But wrong understanding has been accumulated quite so long. So right understanding understand the way, which is so very subtle, because it is one of the Four Noble Truths. It is now, this moment of beginning, to consider what is so true, and it's so very difficult to let go because it has been accumulated so long in a day. So firstly, there should be the understanding of the truth more and more to condition moment of direct awareness with right understanding. But at meditation center, is there any condition for direct awareness of whatever is there? It's only waiting for strange happening and like it and be attached to it. But what about the understanding of what is there now? Because life exists in a moment only. To understand life, the truth of life is understanding what is there now in a moment. Otherwise, can we say that that is right understanding? When there's no understanding of what is there now at all. But at this very moment, learn to understand the truth. It's there by conditions, no matter what. No one can make it arise because it's there already, like seeing right now while we're talking is there. So everything is conditioned, and condition can be learned little by little. What condition what? Like seeing cannot arise at all without the eye base and without that which can impinge on the eye base, which condition the reality arises to experience it. Just to experience, to see only. It cannot think, it cannot lie. It's just that which experience an object. And first of all, if there's no right understanding of that which experiences and that which cannot experience, the rupa, how can there be letting go of things around and people around and the world? What are there in the world?
Yeah.
So the truth is the truth, but it's not easy to realize the truth, to penetrate what is there now, arising and falling away, secretly, unknowingly. What appears is only the sign or the mark of the reality as one characteristic, and together as form and shape to be taken for something, to make it known as this or that.
It means this reality grows with the time. It grows slowly. The understanding, it's realizing it and understanding it at a deeper level. It must be continuously. It's a continuous process.
That's why Buddha taught about the 10 paramis. Be truthful to the truth, to have confidence with viriya and khanti. Not to do anything because it has to be as it's conditioned, as it has been accumulated.
Thank you, Ajahn Suchin.
My pleasure.
So Sita, when the Buddha was talking about the dhammas, the realities to be known and to be understood, these are the conditioned realities that make up life, are the different cittas, such as seeing and hearing and moments of thinking, and the different cetasikas, which are like examples are joy or attachment or kindness or memory, ones that have been discussed this evening. And the third kind of conditioned reality are the rupas, which cannot experience anything. So this is life. There are just different conditioned dhammas, conditioned realities arising and falling away, no one to be found. And when we talk about mind, which both you and Mark mentioned, actually we have an idea of a mind that lasts, but there are just different cittas arising and falling away, the moments of seeing, the moments of hearing, the moments of smelling, tasting, touching, the moments of thinking. So one who experiences anything at all.
And what is the difference between citta and vitakka?
So it's a good question. So vitakka is an example of a cetasika. So when the text refers to cittanupassana, it's referring to the understanding of different cittas, like seeing or hearing, or the moment of thinking with attachment. The citta is just the reality that experiences the object. The cetasikas are the other kind of nama dhammas that arise with the cittas. So vitakka arises with almost every citta in life. It doesn't arise with seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching.
Okay, that belong to Dhammanupassana, no?
So it is any kind of cetasika is included in Dhammanupassana. Actually, any conditioned reality is included in Dhammanupassana. So vitakka accompanies almost every citta in life, apart from those ones I just mentioned. And it helps the citta to mount the object, to touch the object. So at moments of thinking, vitakka plays an important role. Depends on what vitakka experiences as to what is thought about at those moments. But even in the sense door process after seeing, vitakka arises with every citta, not just in the mind door process. So this is just to show how it's not dependent on anyone's will or wish at all, because the vitakka arises at almost every moment by conditions. No one can stop vitakka right now arising with almost every citta. No one can decide what they will be thinking about at this moment or what will be experienced, because it depends on vitakka and passa and sanya and all these other dhammas. Each one is conditioned. So there's no lasting mind, there's no mind sensation. Citta arises and falls away at each moment. And Vedana, feeling, is another reality, another nama that arises with every citta and experiences exactly the same object as the citta. It can be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, arising at every moment.
Okay.
Sarah,
so, for example,
can I ask something?
Yes, go ahead, Shanti.
The citta always has an object, and the sensor process can only have or experience 7 rupas, and the mind door can experience every object, even concept. So does that mean that all cittasikas can be object? That seems a big amount, or just a few, or
depending on conditions, what is apparent. So for example, like in Mark's example of fear, whenever there is fear, there is unpleasant feeling. So unpleasant feeling is very common. So it has a characteristic that can be apparent. But passa, is there any experiencing of passa? So it depends on what appears. So there's no point in going somewhere thinking about being aware of this or that object, because the awareness can only be aware of what appears right now. So if there is no fear now, there cannot be any understanding of fear. There can only be thinking about it. If there is,
theoretically, cittasikas, we can say, are known, some of them.
Just in theory, yes.
Yes.
But the main point, the reason that we're discussing about these different kinds of dhammas, cittas, chaitasikas and rupas, is to understand a little more that there is no self involved at all. It's not a self that has a mind, or a self that is afraid, or a self that can be aware of feelings in the meditation center. There are just different realities that arise by their conditions and fall away. And if understanding understands and awareness is aware, it's just entirely beyond expectation as to what is known. And
yes, of course,
trying to be aware of a particular object, it hinders the development of understanding.
Well, I wasn't trying, but I'm just, we're always emphasizing in the discussion the rupas, and maybe also for Sita, it's good to know that it's not only the rupas that can be object.
It can be
a concept, which is not a reality. And I think that's very good to hear for beginners. What we see is not a reality.
Right. So, as you said, at the moment of seeing, only visible object is experienced. At the moment of hearing, only sound is experienced. But through the mind door, the object, the aramana, can be a reality or a concept. But if we're talking about the development of understanding leading to the development of satipatthana, we're talking about the understanding of reality. So it is the understanding of reality that has to be known. Thanks, Chanti. And so when we talk about the rupas, Sita, as Chanti said, there are 7 different rupas that can experience through the sensors, but only ever one at a time. So when we talk about kayanupassana, we're talking about different rupas. We're not talking about a whole, a self, or a body, but the hardness that is touched now, that is taken for my arm or my body, can be understood as a dhamma, as a reality. So whenever whatever we're reading about, it is the understanding of different realities, not of concepts or ideas such as the body or self that are mistakenly taken for being the realities.
Okay.
So just different Chaitasikas and Rupas arising and falling away in life, that's it. None of them belonging to anyone.
Okay, thank you.
A
Thank
lot
you.
for you to consider the first time.
Yeah, because to think it over, no?
Yes, it may be good to listen again.
Yeah.
Is it overwhelming, Jyotika?
It's good to know to realize it.
And it has to come back to this moment. This is the point, the main point. Because if there's no joy now, joy cannot be understood now. And joy can arise with attachment or with wholesome chittas. But if it's not now, it can't be known. So life can only be understood at this very moment.
That means this joy you have to, it's attachment joy, or it's a wholesomeness.
Exactly.
That
so
one,
who knows what, unless there is joy at this moment, who can say? And if there's no understanding now at this very moment, who can say whether the joy yesterday was what kind of joy? So the understanding always has to be now and now.
It's very important to differentiate between the joy. Yeah, if it's a joy that I experience the joy, it should be for something that you a different, no attachment. I mean, yeah.
When it's the idea of my joy, it cannot be at that time. It cannot be the wholesome joy.
Okay.
But at moments of understanding or moments of kindness, there is wholesome joy, different from when it's taken for my joy or different from the joy with attachment. Okay. This is why it's so helpful to hear about different realities and understand more about the different chaitasikas and rupas that make up life now.
Yeah, it was for me in the same sense that I was thinking, okay, I have to use the word, you feel the joy of helping the center. They can need your help. So I help them, and I was sewing this meditation covers, sitting covers for them, and I experienced this joy, and I believe it is a wholesome joy.
Do we know the difference between the wholesome joy and the unwholesome joy, or do we just think of the situation and think, okay, I'm helping the Dhamma center, therefore it must be wholesome joy? It's just thinking like that. But if it's true awareness and understanding that is being developed, then that understanding will know whether it's wholesome or unwholesome. There's no point in us trying to guess or reckon or consider.
Yeah, it was
and in fact, it doesn't matter, because the development of understanding is about understanding any reality that appears. So if there's awareness of, for example, anger or attachment, it is also at that moment, there's no idea of my anger or my attachment. Because awareness and understanding just understands the nature of the reality.
Sita, we're coming back all the time to realize again and again that ideas are not dhammas, not real paramata dhammas. So ideas of joy is not is only this moment, because the joy that has been making the cushions has gone. It's thinking about the joy, which kind of joy. It's a story, and that's not anymore a reality. It's very hard, but it helps to hear it 1,000 times.
Yeah, is it okay that the joy is that without expecting anything in return?
Just thinking about it again. So, and not knowing the reality by its actual characteristic or nature.
And it's all gone. It's all gone now. So at this moment of thinking, what is the reality right now?
Okay.
The thinking, and the thinking now may be with joy and attachment, but there can only be understanding of what appears now. All the experiences at the center have all completely gone.
Okay.
So just thinking with pleasant feeling now when thinking about it.
Thank you.
The same realities that are experienced, if they are in the center, are arising in daily life anyway. So in daily life, there's joy, happiness of different kinds, wholesome and unwholesome. It can be the object of awareness and understanding if that awareness and understanding has been developed. The truths that apply in the center must apply now in daily life also. Otherwise, they wouldn't be truths.
Okay, thank you.
And because they apply now, they can be the object of study, of awareness and understanding what that has been developed. So this is why Ajahn said, and Sarah said, it has to begin now without thinking of going somewhere to do something special.
And this is why the Buddha said, let go of the past and forget about dreaming about the future, but develop understanding right now.
Thank you.
No matter where, when.
Yeah.
Not I who can do anything.
Thank you. It's very true.
Very glad you could join, Sita.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's kusala karma to be here with all these beautiful people with so much knowledge of the Dhamma. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sawadika.
Jan.
Thank you.
Sarah, John,
Ajahn Kap.
Tina,
Join us
everyone.
again next
Ajahn,
week.
Sawadika.
Bye-bye, everyone.
กราบเท้าท่านอาจารย์ค่ะอนุโมทนาคุณเซราคุณจอน and everyone.
Thank you, Ajahn Suchin. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
See you next week.
Thank you, Sita.
Thank
You too.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.